Yes, villagers, as if we didn't have enough to worry about, we have this nail biter of an election. If you're having trouble with that election, in this episode, we have 4 tips to help you to let some of the air out of your balloon and not be so stressed. If you're new to this channel, welcome to our village. If you're a returning villager, welcome as well. So let's get into it. Welcome to Garden of the Mind, where we reduce stress, improve our health and fitness, and improve our financial IQ every episode. We must believe more than we see. These are uncertain times indeed. We have racial inequality, we have social unrest, we have COVID, and now we have this nail biter of an election, as if we didn't need another thing to be uncertain about. Tip number 1, realize that winning in your life is not based on the candidate. Oftentimes, we project our hopes and beliefs on a candidate. If that candidate wins, we think our life is going to be easy. If our candidate does not win, we think our life is going to be doom and gloom. So basically, we catastrophize and believe that if we are going to do well, it's dependent on a candidate. If we're going to do not so well, it's dependent on a candidate. Well, let me tell you, it's not based on the candidate. No matter what the situation is, no matter who wins, you are going to be okay. Your success is determined by your outlook and your perspective. Those are the things that help you to succeed in your life. So it's not going to be based on a candidate and whether that candidate wins or loses. Remember, everything is a process. Regardless as to whether your candidate wins or doesn't win, it's going to still take some time for them to implement whatever it is that they are looking to implement. And during that time, that gives you the best time for you to set up your own plan for your own success. Tip number 2, find out who you are. Are you the type of person that can go on social media and politely respond to a friend's counter argument to something that you believe in strongly? If that's the case, then go ahead and respond. But if you decide to travel down a wormhole and decide to go and look on the internet and see if you can find everything about your candidate or your cause and respond to that, then that is probably something that you shouldn't engage in. Are you the type of person that has all of the pundit shows on simultaneously in the room? You have one on the television, one on your iPad, one on your phone, and you're listening to everything? If that's the situation, then there might be a deeper problem. Now, there is such a thing as election stress disorder. If you're finding out that you are missing sleep or you can't seem to stop yourself from doing certain things, then you might consider seeing a professional. And remember, there is nothing wrong with you seeing a professional over something that you cannot stop yourself from doing. Tip number 3, write down your fears. Usually, whenever we are stressed about a situation, I believe that happens from unresolved situations where you're not talking about it and it just basically sits in your head on slow burn and you can't really identify why you feel what you feel, but you know you feel it. Well, that can be an example of something sitting in your head on slow burn. So you know that you feel sad, but you can't really identify why you feel sad, or you feel anxious and don't really understand why you feel anxious. That can usually be because things are sitting and floating in your head without any grounding. So what we want to do is we want to bring the chaos in your head and converge it out onto the paper. So you want to write down what your fears are. At this point, what are some of your greatest fears in terms of this election? What would happen if your candidate did not win? What would that mean for you in your life? Write those things down. Don't just say, since they're in my head, I know what they are and I don't have to write it down. Once you do that, it becomes cathartic and it takes it from your head, puts it in a medium outside of yourself. And it's always easier for us to deal with our feelings outside of our body as opposed to keeping them bottled up inside of our head. Tip number 4, realize God is still in control. One way or the other, no matter what happens, remember that there is a God who has your best interests at heart. And no matter who is elected, whether they be for you or not for you, from what you understand, you are going to be okay. Remember that you are a spiritual being that is having a human experience. And sometimes when this life gets a little too hard, we might have to return back to that spiritual essence in terms of our prayer. It's a good idea for you to exercise your spirituality every single day, whether that be through prayer, whether that be through meditation, some way for you to acknowledge that this life is far bigger than you. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you want to know when I post, which is Wednesday, click on that notification bell so you get a ding on your phone and you know that a new video is made for you. And remember, thoughts are actions, words have power, and actions have consequences. I'll see you next Wednesday. I'll see you then.